Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Hogarth's Global Astrology. Know your planets, know yourself, or know your nation, know yourself. The two are interchangeable, right? Okay, so this show, this Thursday, Friday. Well, first of all, thank you for everyone who's joined me here. There's a good few of you in the chat already having a good chin wag, discussing what's going on. Now, this show is going to be a little bit different. I may be taking one or two questions. But really, what I wanted to talk about and touch base on is the geopolitics, but also things to do with the global economy, especially in regard to the BRICS nations and stuff like that. And in a way, this is going to be a little bit of an update. So what I've done is I've lined up some articles that basically substantiate the predictions that I made a while ago, about the rivalry between China and America for supremacy and dominance on the global stage. And these were videos that were made a while ago. So I made a video. And it's called the update the US dollar. Look, I should have bloody written out the whole thingamajig. Anyway, I've got the video lighted up, but it's to do with the US dollar and China and stuff like that. And I made this video back on March 15th/16th. So I made it on the 15th, but on YouTube it shows up as the 16th of March 2023. So that is, of course, today's date is the 13th of June 2024. So this is well over a year ago now, when no one was really kind of talking about these things, so much. And maybe I can link the video in the description below. So I'm going to be talking about that. We also need to talk about France. Yes, France. You guys may have heard. Now, the thing is, I got so busy doing stuff, and then people call me up. My friend called me up, and that kind of shaved off a little bit of my preparation time. And I was busy with clients all day today. So I just want to say a shout out to all my clients this week. Much appreciated. Fascinating conversations as always. So I wasn't able to line up absolutely every single video, but what I've got is enough to substantiate what the things that I have basically been talking about for a while. So the important thing to understand, and what I want to share with you guys, is that you will know this because, and I don't want to, obviously preaching to the choir to a certain extent, you guys are well-informed people, but I just want to let you know just how big some of these global changes are. And they are not, I repeat, they are not being talked about so much in corporate media. Yeah, so it's not going to show up. I mean, there might be a little diddle here and there on MSNBC, but, it's going to be mainly, or Bloomberg, Bloomberg might be talking about this or whatever. Maybe the more kind of specifically financial focused channels and stuff like that. And the reason why I wanted to talk about it is because I think it is very, very important, because we're going through huge seismic shifts in the world right now. And there is a confluence of energies and influences coming together, which I really want to bring to your attention. I don't talk about it so much. And, some people, unfortunately, they get a little bit touchy, when you start talking about the dollar and all of this kind of stuff. But I'm also doing some research as well for my next book, and just the research is not written yet. So, if you're not bought the first one yet, go for that. That is set up, that one. But I think my next book is going to be called The Candid Guide to Baby Boomers and Their Parents. Yeah. And within that, I'm going to be looking at that cohort, what is going on with them and that Pluto in Leo generation, but particularly the ones who have got Pluto conjunct the star Regulus, in Magha Nakshatra. It's also going to be a book about global finances and stuff like that, and how that works out, and how those planets influence finance and stuff, because we are in a crucial time in history. We are in a crucial time. Many things are shifting. Oh, look, and look, here we are. People are actually contributing in the chat already. So someone here, Sammy, saying France has higher wages than the USA. Yeah, you know, many countries do, because in terms of real terms, when you take into account inflation, real take-home pay in America really hasn't gone up a long time. In fact, some say even since the mid to late 70s, when you take inflation into account. So, you know, oh, and that was a high from Australia, Wendy. Someone's saying here, I love the UK. Thank God, there you are. You got a nice flag there, English flag there. And then Janie T saying, hi, Hogarth and everyone. And what's this here? BBC News talks a lot about things in Europe. Yeah, obviously, you know, we are, of course, Europe is our neighbor, so we do talk a lot more about these things. And I understand when you're in America, it's that much further away, but it doesn't mean that what happens in Europe is not important, particularly what's going to happen with France. So before I get into that, I want to lay some of the groundwork, some of the foundations of these energies, what I'm talking about, and why they are important. Yeah. Especially when it comes to the geopolitics. Now I'm going to start reading from a book, actually not my own, my one's here on the desk, but I want to show you this book here, which is going to be the foundation, like I said, of the research for my next book. It's not going to be a complete financial book, but you know, as you guys know, look, I'm not a financial expert and I've never pretended to be, but I do take an interest. In national and international economies and the geopolitics of money and finance, because it's important. And I'm going to be showing you some stuff on the screen. Now, one of the important things to discuss here. So this book here it is here. Hopefully that my video won't get demonetized, which I don't think it will. Anyway, it's called The Principles for Dealing with the Changing World Order: Why Nations Succeed and Fail. And it's by Ray Dalio. Check him out on YouTube. Maybe I might have to dig out a clip here and there. Anyway, the important thing is he looks at the cycles of nations, mainly empires. He looks at the Dutch Empire and the guilder as reserve currency. He looked at the British Empire and the pound as the reserve currency. He looks at the Empire of China, of course, the Chinese Empire, over 5,000 years of continuous history. We need to remember that. And he looks at America as an empire, and other places as well. You know, the Persians and the Romans, you know, whoever was prominent. The important thing is, one of the things that he observed was that he noticed empires seem to have a lifespan of around about 250 years. That pricked my ears, yeah? And that made me go, wait a minute, that's a Pluto cycle. Yeah, it takes Pluto 248 years to go around the sun. Yeah. No prizes for guessing, yeah, which nation on earth is having a Pluto return right now. Yeah, so I don't want everyone to kind of wet the bed, but the point is, what I'm saying is there's a confluence of things going on. Yeah, so if you don't, I mean, it's quite a tome. I mean, it's not the lightest book in the world, but Ray Dalio basically is one of the he's American, and he's one of the world's most successful hedge fund managers. So this ain't some bullshit that, you know, I've just dragged out of, you know, whatever. Yeah, as you know, I try and give you guys quality. This is I have done my own research, but this is proper research. This guy is one of the best in terms of describing economy, economics of all kinds, etc., and stuff like that. That's why even though I'm going to be writing an astrology book for my next book, it is based on solid research and themes. You know, I don't have to go out and read up on the empires of China just to prove a point. He's done all that work already. Do you know what I mean? But I can use that as a reference point to say, look at this cycle, that cycle. What I'm going to do now is, you see where I've got my little tabs here on my book. We all know this one. If you're interested in it, thank you as well to all the people that left reviews. Thank you as well to all the people who have bought the book. So many of you are going for it, and it's wonderful, and you're getting a lot of pleasure out of it. I've done these little tabs here, and I'm going to read from the characteristics of certain planets. So you've got them in your head. So then when I go to the charts and stuff and I start talking about the global thing, it's all gonna start making sense. Yeah. All right. So let's go to the first bit here. My first tab that I'm going to in my book is here. Yeah. So I'm going to look at Saturn here, and I put here Saturn's traits. There it is. You'll see this in it. That's what I've got here. I'm just going to read this. Now, remember, Saturn is going through sidereal Aquarius. Saturn is also the planet of government and governments around the world. Remember, 49% of the global population this year is voting in elections. Yeah, so think about that. That is huge. Anyway, positive and shadow qualities of Saturn. Positive qualities of Saturn. Realism, sobriety, shrewdness, practical thinking, service to others, discipline, responsibility, accuracy, longevity, endurance, and grace. Yeah. So anyone who is doing their Saturn well, using their Saturn well, will have these virtues. Even if you're rubbish at Saturn, you can develop these virtues and your life will improve. All right. The shadow qualities of Saturn. Listen to this. The shadow. Remember, Saturn is the natural ruler of Capricorn and Aquarius. Yeah. Aquarius is a bit funny though, because it's also co-ruled by Uranus and Rahu, but let's not get into that. Shadow qualities of Saturn. So think, remember, Pluto is going through sidereal Capricorn. So that means this Pluto, which reveals certain things, shenanigans going on, is going to be doing it in this area Capricornian way. So shadow qualities of Saturn: cruelty, domination, excessive restrictions. Cast your mind back to when Saturn was in sidereal Capricorn. He went in on the 30th of January 2020. And we all know what happened afterwards, yeah? In Western Tropical, of course, they were talking about him being an Aquarius, but he actually moved into sidereal Capricorn at that time. So I'll read again. Shadow qualities of Saturn: cruelty, domination, excessive restrictions, scientific orthodoxy. Yeah, hold that in your mind as well. Refusal to change outdated rules in the face of new evidence or insights. Too many rules and regulations. Depression, nihilism, harshness, excessive critique. Too much fear, perfectionism, inertia and procrastination, exploitation, and serfdom. Yeah. So look, there's some virtues there, but let's not forget Saturn is known as a cruel planet. So again, hold that in your mind. Saturn is currently transiting sidereal Aquarius. So I'll be talking about that in a minute. Next page. Yeah. Let's read on Uranus. Oh, so what's this here? Let's read on Uranus. Yeah. Which is chapter 12 in the book. Starting off here. What does Uranus deal with? Now, Uranus has just changed signs. Uranus on the 1st of June changed signs into sidereal Taurus. Taurus deals with money, asset classes of all kinds, education, food, all of that stuff. That means Uranus is going to be bringing Uranian themes to that area of life for the whole globe for the next 7 years, because he spends 7 years in one sign, but he takes 84 years to go around the sun. So the last time he was in Taurus was 80 odd years ago. Yeah. Anyway, here we are. Uranus. This is what is going to be some of the energies he'll be bringing to Taurus. Uranus, the wizard of technology, rebellion, and liberation, I put here. Co-rule of Aquarius along with Saturn and Rahu, as I said before. Element, lightning and electricity. Tarot card, the tower or the Knight of Swords, I've said here. Uranus represents sudden shocks and surprises. When he moved into sidereal Aries about 7 years ago, what did we have? We had Brexit and we had Duck L'Orange. Yeah? Western Tropical, they were saying he was in Taurus. No, Aries. breaking forward with new things, rash decisions, unexpected things, war. Yeah, look at what's happened with Ukraine and all of that kind of stuff. Anyway, I digress. Uranus represents sudden shocks and surprises, 7 to 8 year epochs of innovation and new concepts, revolutions of all kinds, rebellions, rebels, and liberation. Science, Newtonian science, astrophysics, quantum physics, mavericks, eccentrics, the unusual, innovation, and quirkiness. Also can represent queer, transgender, non-binary, non-conformist, transhumanism. Transhumanism, the combination of humanity and machine. Who's putting chips in people's heads right now? Yeah, certain Elon. Yeah, ding, 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 ding. Anyway, Reiki, astrology, Kundalini energy, experimental or unusual medicines with unknown outcomes. Listen to that. Experimental or unusual medicines with unknown outcomes. Meteorology, seismology, aviation, earthquakes, physical, political, sometimes financial. He can also deal with bipolar, autism, Asperger's, ADHD, learning difficulties. Also deals with visionaries, polymaths, flashes of insight, tellers of uncomfortable truths. Uranus. Sharp-tongued comedians and those who mock authority. Being born backwards or breach. Yes, so if you've been born backwards or breach, you might have a Uranian influence. Renewable energies and clean electricity. So you see, he deals with the cutting edge as well. Complex man-made chemicals, pesticides and phthalates, synthetic and composite materials, plastics, artificial insemination, castration, contamination, and pollution he can deal with. And also as well, AI. So you see, there's a lot going on. Yeah. And let me just finally read some of the characteristics of Pluto. So here we are, the wizard of power, domination, and transformation. So Scorpio, he's the co-ruler of Scorpio along with Mars and Ketu. So Pluto represents ancestral and personal traumas, the dark unconscious, alchemy. I've given them the tarot card of the death card, yeah? 20 to 30 year cycles of transformation. So you can deal with charisma, magnetic personality, sex bombs, heart throbs, cultural icons, Marilyn Monroe. Just think of Marilyn Monroe. She had a strong aspect there with Pluto, if I remember correctly, in her chart, or at least the 8th house. Addictions of all kinds. I won't read it all out, all the different things, but there was a bit here where it can also deal with prostitution, sexploitation, slavery, bondage, sadomasochism, and pornography. Also deals, though, with psychologists, therapists, counselors of all kinds, deeply impactful people, penetrating insights. But it also can deal with cabals, extremely powerful minority groups, psychopaths, and extreme narcissists. Ooh, haven't we seen quite a bit of that in politics? Yeah. Can even deal with genocide, pogroms, war crimes, fascism, censorship, propaganda, and the doom imprint. But it can also deal with the phoenix rising from the ashes and renewal, and persons so rich that their true wealth is impossible to know or calculate. Yeah. So, and it also deals with super CEOs, emperors, empresses, and multiple enterprises yet unknown to most people, persons that can influence millions or billions of people. So that is giving a bit of the context there. Yeah, because I wanted to do that so you guys have a reference that you can go to when you're trying to remember this stuff, and when you're looking out the world and trying to understand the various different things that are going on and why. Yeah. One of the things we need to talk about is France, because what Macron has just done, he's just called for a snap election. So imagine, like, Rishi Sunak, our UK Prime Minister, has called for a snap election. Now Macron has done one, not for his presidency, but for the parliament. And a lot of people saying that it's going to start. Well, look, I've said this before. I said when Macron was against Marine Le Pen, I said the next time she gets a chance, I said Marine will win. There is a good chance that you know, her protege, not her, but her protege, this young guy called, oh, I can't remember what he's called now. It's gone out of my head, but he's only 28 years old. He could become the new prime minister of France, and he's on the right. So imagine what's going to happen when it comes to the presidential elections. He's taken a huge gamble, apparently. So look here, I'm going to read this for you. Look. Oh, 1 minute. What am I doing? Sorry. Un momento. I forgot. I need to do share screen. 1 second. Let me just present and share my screen. I will be taking questions maybe near the end. And in fact, actually, I'll do one now. Nick Minks. So she said, with France now heading for an election as well, do the cards or chart of France indicate the far right getting control? Macron will still hold the presidency, but if the swing is too great, would he go? Right. So I'm going to do share screen here, because this is part, as you've heard me say before, guys, of Pluto in sidereal Capricorn. Government. Do you remember I said things will start moving to the right? We see it all over the world. We've seen it, of course, in US politics. Look at the European elections recently. It wasn't the Queen's clean sweep. And I said it wouldn't be that, but I said a lot of the countries would move to the right, and they have. Yeah. So if we go here, let's just do that. Let's do, oh God, how do I, let's do that. Oh, no. Let's do that. All right, let's do share. See if you can see this. All right, let me know if you can see this, folks. I'm sure you can. So look, this is from Politico. I don't know what their political affiliation is. I don't know if they're right, left, or center, whatever. Don't shoot me down if it turns out they're a bit more right wing or something. I don't give a shit, because it's more important to talk about the content. So here, is Macron too toxic to win? Even his allies don't want the French president's face on their posters or his voice on the radio. Listen to that, yeah? There he is in a car. So Paris, outside France, President Emmanuel Macron epitomizes the polished, self-assured European statesman, the establishment. Remember, Capricorn also deals with establishment. Pluto coming through Capricorn means blowing up or breaking down of the establishment. Pluto also deals with plutocrats, yeah, oligarchs. Anyway. So inside France, he is increasingly seen as a liability. In the wake of Macron's bombshell decision to call a snap election after losing badly in the European Parliament contest, yes, because in the European elections, everything moved to what? The right. Pluto in Capricorn, yeah? And it says here, you won't see Macron's face on any campaign posters, I can tell you that, said a member of the parliament belonging to the French president's coalition. The Elysee Palace hasn't really understood the anti-president mood in France, said an official with Macron's Renaissance parliamentary group, who, like others in this story, was granted anonymity to discuss a sensitive matter. So they had to be anonymous to come forward and say this. Polls show the French see their president as disdainful and authoritarian. Remember I said Pluto, because it works both ways. Pluto does deal with authoritarianism and a lightning rod for anti-elite feelings that have been swirling in the wake of numerous crises such as the Yellow Vest Revolt and the COVID pandemic. Yeah, do you remember I said Saturn, the shadow of Saturn, is too many rules, regulations, restrictions. During the pandemic, Saturn was going through sidereal Capricorn at the time. Now he's in Aquarius, but it goes Capricorn, Aquarius. So you see, he was there for a few years. Macron is associated that. Remember he said, I want to piss off the you-know-whos. Anyway, I'm not even going to go there. I'm just going to let stuff keep emerging with time. And as more shoes drop, then we can go more in detail into those conversations. Anyway, so his reluctance to, revolt, COVID pandemic that hit France in recent years, his reluctance to change course in the face of widespread protests over pension reform, remember that, last year reinforced the view that he is aloof and out of touch while his tone can come across as arrogant and elitist. So if we look here, now look, it says here, on Sunday, the backlash crystallized, and I'll stop after a while. The far-right national rally finished first in the European Parliament election in France with 31.4% of the vote, more than double the 14.6% received by Macron's party. Yeah. So here, if I stop the share and go back, now do you understand? It's all starting to manifest. I've been talking about this for years. Now I understand, look, all the Western astrologers are saying that Pluto is in Aquarius. Fine, they can say that. But I follow the astronomy, where the planets actually are. That's what the sidereal means. There's the movement of the stars. And all we need to do is look at the world. Look at the news. What is happening? Everything that I had predicted, I said Europe and the rest of the world will start moving to the right. Yeah, because what's happening is something old is breaking down. The old thing that is breaking down is neoliberalism. Yeah, because it's failed. Yeah, anyway, let's read some tarot on Macron, and I'll read some of your comments as well. I'm really on the pulpit today. But you can see why, can't you, folks? You can see why I'm saying this, because I want you guys to be prepared to understand the energies that are at play and for us to use them in a positive way. Yes, the Pluto energy can be dark, but also as well, we're in the age of magic. Like I said, get your magical books, get your astrological books. It doesn't always have to be mine. It can be others. It doesn't matter. Inform yourself, learn about this stuff, so then you can contribute to the positive energies. But we have to be educated, and my job as well is to just bring forward these things that frankly is not being talked on the news, and a lot of channels aren't talking about this. They're not going into the depths of the economics and how Pluto is affecting this, that, and the other. And it's important to know, because this is a massive transit. It's going to last for a long time. Yeah, anyway, what's this one here? Shockwave saying Greg Albert faces conservative backlash over new Texas stock exchange. Wow. Why is Texas Gov Albert trying to start a stock exchange in Texas? Do you know why he wants to start a stock exchange in Texas? It's because he wants to secede. Yeah, that's my instinct on that. Why else would you want to start a stock exchange in Texas? Yeah, he wants to secede. This is what all these plans are. Pluto in Capricorn. Infrastructure, systems, old ways of doing things begin to break down. Yeah, new things begin to emerge, but it can be chaotic at this stage. Transformation. Yeah, Pluto is also transformation. What's this here? Did anyone read the Font magazine? Oh, look, this is interesting. Did anyone read that the Fortune magazine article about the H5N1 bird flu is spreading in birds worldwide? It's already killed 95 million birds in the US alone. Oh no, and spreading to mammals. Do you remember we talked about this on Hoggerly? We said it would keep progressing. Let's just see here. And Zendol is saying a new COVID variant is now in Hawaii, New York, and California, and many are being hospitalized with this new variant. Yeah, sadly, it's going to continue to mutate. It's never going to vanish. Yeah, it's always going to be there. It will just, well, it's supposed to weaken, but let's see what happens. Here, someone's saying. So Sherry's saying, when will the media start talking about Project 25? Absolutely. This is something that they should be talking about, because the Pluto is in Capricorn. It deals with all of these power structures, autocracies. Look, if Duck Larange wins, yeah, it's Gilead. Yeah. He doesn't give a toss about all of that, whatever. He just wants to stay out of prison. It's the people around him. Gilead. Yeah, that's what they want. Their form of autocracy. And then, but then also as well, things can't carry on as they are now as well. Things have to change. Everything is all transforming all at once. Yeah. So yes, there is a lot going on. Let's pull some cards on Macron, and then we're going to talk about the US dollar, because we need to talk about that. We need to talk about BRICS. Yeah. I've been talking about BRICS for ages. You know, way back when people were like, well, we need to talk about it because I've got some articles to share with you. So let's just answer the question, which is with France now heading for going back to Nick Minx's question, with France now heading for an election as well, do the cards or chart of France indicate the far right taking control? Macron will hold the presidency, but if the swing is too great, will he go? So let's just say here, let's just see if they will win. Will Marine Le Pen's party win? Now, I would say they stand a good chance because they've obviously got double the amount of votes that Macron's party did. And this is also the youth, by the way. So don't think it's just the old crusty ones. No, it's actually the youth are actually voting for a lot of this. And why? God, where are my cards? Oh, bloody hell, Hoagie. Oh, there they are. All right. Now, why? The reason why I say they're doing that is obviously because the energy of Pluto is in Capricorn, but it's not just that. Neoliberalism has failed. Young people cannot earn, they've got shitty jobs, yeah, which don't pay them enough money. I mean, obviously, if they've got a really good job, fine. But most of them are having jobs that the work doesn't pay them enough to be able to buy a house. So now you got a lot of well, I'm gonna say kids, a lot of adults that are 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 35 can't leave home. They can't leave because they can't afford their own house. They can't afford rent either. They're in unstable work. They don't feel secure. Many are deciding not to have children. Why? Because they can't afford it. This isn't just happening like in Europe. Of course, it's happening all over the world. You guys will know this already in America. You know, you just talk to your children or you talk to your grandchildren. They're feeling bleak. You know, they don't feel like there's hope. They feel like all the money is being kept from them by elites, which it is. Yeah. So this is also what is fueling things as well. So it's not quite as black and white as much of the media is trying to present. It's more nuanced than that. There is a reason why young people, I'm not saying it's right or wrong or whatever, I'm just saying there is a reason why they are voting for the right. It's because essentially they've been abandoned by neoliberalism, which has only benefited the top 1%, basically. Anyway, will the far right win? Let's see what the cards have to say. Of course, if they get strong cards, then they'll win. If they're so-so, maybe. If they're rubbish, then maybe not. Right, let's pull this down. I hope you're finding the show interesting. I'm blasting from my pulpit today, but it was time to do a show like this. Just you wait until I start telling you about BRICS. Anyway, the far right, will they win Parliament in France? Will they win the French Parliament? Will they win the French Parliament? Will they win the French Parliament? And will that young man become the new president of France? Let's have a look, see. Remember what I said, if the cards are positive, yes. If they're in between, mediocre, maybe not. If they're rubbish, then no. Let's have a look. Well, look at that. The Emperor's come out already. Bloody hell. Oh. Interesting. All right. This is interesting. I asked, would they win? Look at this. The first card that comes out is the Emperor. What is the Emperor all about? The Emperor is about authority, leadership, patriarchy, etc. Look, he's dressed in his red Robes. This is the robes of battle. This is the emperor. This is the seat. Look, you see, the seat of power. And of course, it's got that battling kind of passionate quality there. So the first card is saying, yeah, it's looking like they might. This gamble may not pay off. One could argue maybe this is Macron as the emperor and stuff like that. But I was asking, will the right win? Yeah. So that's the first card that they've got. Here in the next position, now this can often be the obstacle position. However, if the first card is positive, then it will reinforce it. Look, it's their message. The Knight of Cups is about making an offering, yeah, making an offering, but it also deals with seduction, romance, etc., stuff like that. This is a message, the message of maybe the more authoritarian energies, yeah, or maybe the energies are more on the right, seems to be getting through. Yeah, that's what they've been focused on. Look, we can see here, there's the emperor. Here's the message, the offering. They're going to make an offering. On what grounds? They're going to be talking about collaboration. Yeah, if we see here, we can see the Three of Pentacles. Remember too, as well, Pentacles aren't just about money, they're about values. So you can see here is the worker carrying out the plans. So they're going to have detailed plans. They're going to, if they win, it's because they're going to make an offer to France of how they're going to maybe rebuild France. Yeah, because here, and isn't this interesting? You see, it's church windows. Remember Notre Dame burnt down, and it's been rebuilt. I think it's going to be open for the Olympics. Anyway, but look, if we see here, this is making plans. You see coordination. Many of the these parties on the far right are also collaborating with each other as well. Let's not forget that. If we look here, look, they get the Ace of Cups, which again, aces are yeses. And look here, the cup is overflowing with joy, and you've got the, you know, the dove of peace, etc. So this is also reinforcing. And then if we look here, we have got the Six of Swords, which of course is about moving to smoother waters, etc. and stuff like that. But that could easily be Macron here in the boat as well. Yeah, maybe, you know, showing some kind of change, some kind of movement. So my instinct reading that is, it looks like it's a pretty firm yes, they may win the parliament. I could be wrong. We'll have to see. But based on those cards, which are basically positive, I think there's a good chance that they will win, and Macron's gamble may fail. I think if it does fail, I think he knows it will. I think he knows that he's unpopular, and that he's very unpopular, and he's getting this. The instinct is that maybe he's feeling a bit like Rishi Sunak, where he's just like, yeah, you know what? I think I'm done with this. So there you are. That's my answer there, folks. Make of that what you will. I hope you found it interesting. Thank you as well to everyone for joining me. Please don't forget as well to like and subscribe. Much appreciated. It really helps the channel to grow. If you've enjoyed this content or found it interesting, please consider subscribing, hit the bell notification and all that stuff. And if you can't donate to the channel, many can't. I mean, many do, which is wonderful. But I would suggest you can watch an ad, yeah, but just count to 11. Right now, and of course, if you're interested in the book as well and all that stuff, it's linked in the description below, so you can read this knowledge for yourself. Use it as maybe as an anchor for future alchemy, because at least then you're going to understand where the planets are and what that actually means, how it shows up in the world. You know, not to be bad to anyone else, but look, I'm showing you proof here, aren't I? Look, I said things would move to the right. I'm showing you the articles. I'm showing you the demonstration of this. I'm not making it up. It's real. Yeah. And I've read thousands of charts. I know how the planets behave. Anyway, let's look up now. Let's look up BRICS. Now, you'll remember I said, this is what I said. So I'm going to share my screen with you. And I've gone to one of my old YouTube videos, like I said, from 15th of March. It will show us the 16th, 15th of March, 2023. Yeah, before anyone was talking about this. So I'm going to share screen, and then I'm going to click here, and then I'm just going to press play. Hopefully it's kept the bloody, here it is. Has it kept the clip? Oh, of course it hasn't. 1 minute. On momento, I need to find the clip again. What's going on here? Some advert has come up. My Virgo. All right, here. So 15, 20, and we need to go to 16 minutes. All right, I'm going to play it from here. So this is what I said months ago. Oh my gosh, look at me. I'm looking so fresh there. Oh, mind you, that was before the sunshine. So, you know, there you are, less crinkly. Anyway, relationship between America and China. There's this great rivalry there. So we see that rivalry heating up because look, this is really what China wants to do, or Xi. Yeah. Now remember, we're not talking about the Chinese people. We're talking about the, you know, the regime. But this is really what I think is going on, and it's not been spoken about that much. China would like the yuan, their currency, to become the default standard instead of the dollar. Yeah. I'm going to say that one more time because it's very important. China would like the yuan to become the default currency instead of the dollar. This is really, really important. Part of this deal that's being brokered, this is my opinion, between Iran and Saudi Arabia has got a lot to do with that. Yeah, there are lots of people that want people. Let's just say there is a will, a consensus bubbling, growing in the world that maybe doesn't want the dollar as the default standard anymore, particularly if you're a country where, you know, because look, the dollar is the default standard, of course, around the world, but we know there's global inflation. Yeah. So many poorer countries who need to trade with the rest of the world, they've seen their currencies devalue. Yeah. So there's that. But their debt and stuff like that is also owed in dollars. So there is this thing where there's this huge discrepancy on a lot of people's pocketbook, nations' pocketbooks. Yeah. There. I will leave it there so it doesn't bang on too much. Right. So there you are. So different. Obviously, my beard is a little bit longer and it's a different camera as well. I missed that camera. That camera was really good. It was a very flattering camera. Anyway, so guys, what do you think of that? Now, that's a statement that I made over a year ago. What I'm going to share with you now is an article here talking about BRICS. Now, remember, what is BRICS? Brazil, Russia, India. Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. But many more countries have started to join. Yes. So remember what I said. They're looking to try and maybe undermine the dollar. Right. So if we go here, so let me just go here. Let me do present. Let's do share screen again. And then do here. And I'm going to read for you some stuff on BRICS. Yeah, and then I'll read some tarot and stuff and maybe just tackle some questions at the end. All right. Now let's see where it's, so here we are. So this is called Watcher Guru. Again, I don't know the political affiliation or whatever. I'm just taking the information because for me, that's irrelevant. The important thing is the information. So if we see here, look, you see BRICS, 20 nations attends alliance meeting to talk expansion. 59 countries show interest to join BRICS in 2024. 59 countries. Now, look here, BRICS makes major de-dollarization announcement. Yeah. So look, I'm not just making this stuff up. I'm wanting to share this with you so you guys are informed about other very important things that are going on in the world because, you know, Donald Trump is not the only show in town. Of course, he's important. I'm not saying he's not important to talk about because obviously if he wins, you know, Gilead. But I want to show you these greater, wider geopolitical forces at work in the world, because I feel it's very important to talk about these things. Now, here there is one, gather to discuss. Where's the one? Here we are. Look at this. This is the one I want to share with you. BRICS. Feds acknowledge sanctions led to de-dollarization. So here we go. Let's just click on this. And this was June 9th. So you can see it here. BRICS. Feds acknowledge, which is the Federal Reserve of the USA, led to de-dollarization. Look, you've got all these people. I don't think that was their poster behind. I think that's a bit of Photoshop. But anyway, so anyway, let's just talk about this quickly. BRICS kickstarted the global de-dollarization program after US President pressed sanctions on Russia in February 2022 for invading Ukraine. The alliance members, Russia, ping countries to ditch the US dollar for trade. They have been successful in their quest, as a handful of trade deals were settled in local currencies, not the US dollar. So, and then it goes on to here, talk about, what sectors could be affected, and then it says here, BRICS, Russia dumps 4.5 billion in US bonds. So the point is, you can then investigate a lot of this stuff for yourself. But I just wanted to show you some of the bigger factors that are going on that are not being discussed. Yeah. So if we click on this one here, there's Xi Jinping. Remember I said Xi Jinping is in direct rivalry with America. So BRICS, 20 nations attend alliance meeting to talk expansion. So they want to take it further. When was this article created? June 11th. Today's June 13th. So it's very fresh off the press. The BRICS alliance has held a meeting with 20 countries in attendance to discuss expansion and economic cooperation. Foreign ministers of countries belonging to the BRICS bloc initiated a 2-day meeting in the Russian city of Nizhny Novgorod. Topics at hand include the upcoming expansion of the BRICS Plus. Do you remember I said it will grow? And de-dollarization efforts and building further economic and trade relations with one another, right? So there, evidence, yeah, of what I was talking about. Not that you guys didn't believe me, but then some people just like, well, the dollar's going to live for it. Look, stuff is happening. So we need to adapt, we need to adjust, we need to be ready, we need to be on top of the information. Yeah, we need to use the energy of Pluto for positive manifestations and transformation as the global economy begins to change. If I just share one more thing, just to kind of just make my point and why I was talking about this in the first place. So let's just do here, share. And then let's see how I'm doing on time. And then I'll look at some of your comments and stuff and maybe answer some questions that you may have. So chuck them in the comments if you want some questions answered. Let me just do this last little presentation. And I'm going to get the, we're going to look at the astrology. And this is very important that I want to discuss with you guys, because this is what I've been looking at in terms of the astrology. Ignore this. This is... that's someone's birth chart. That was one of my clients today. Jennifer. Hello, Jennifer. So let's do new birth chart. And let's do, today's the 13th. Let's do this for, I think, the 10th. Let's do this for the 10th. And I'm going to put here stellium in Taurus. Let's just do that. Let's do calculate and see if it's going to show. There we go. All right. Look at this. Let me just move this here so you can see. Now, this is really important. I know we're quite astro heavy today, and I will try and answer some of your more of your questions after this. But this was the main thrust of what I wanted to talk about in terms of global change in the economies. BRICS is part of this. Right. Here, if we look, Uranus moved into sidereal Taurus on the 1st of June, 2024. It takes Uranus 84 years to make its way around the sun. So the last time Uranus was in sidereal Taurus was 84 years ago. Yeah. There are some really important developments. Now, I said here, now remember, Uranus is the planet of innovation, technology. It's in the sign of Taurus, which deals with what? Money, asset classes of all kinds. It was there also as well with Jupiter. Jupiter also deals with the economy, global economy, along with Saturn, which is sitting in sidereal Aquarius. It's also here with Mercury. Mercury literally is currency. Venus is tangible assets of all kinds, and the sun is leadership. So this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 planet stellium to me announces the new economy that will be emerging in the world over the next 7 years. It's obviously going to go beyond that. What's going to happen? Think about it. If Uranus is the planet of innovation, technology, and all of that kind of stuff, and he's in the sign of money, that means what? Technological money, e-money, new currencies. The BRICS currency is going to be pegged to gold and oil. Because let's not forget, in 1972, some of you may remember this, President Nixon separated the dollar from gold, and we were in the realm of fiat currency. But something else very important has happened as well. One of the very important things is that around about 80 years ago, the deal between America and the sort of UAE, you know, Saudi Arabia and stuff like that for the oil, the petrodollar, yeah, that was signed about 80 years ago. That contract recently came to an end. I think it was on the 7th of June. Yeah, so remember, Uranus moved into sidereal Taurus on the 1st of June. Not way over in Gemini like they're talking about in Western tropical. Sidereal Taurus on the 1st of June. 5 days later, the contract comes up for renewal. And guess what? The UAE didn't sign it. I repeat, the UAE did not sign the renewal of the contract for the use of the petrodollar to pay for oil. Yeah, this is a big deal. If I were a newscaster, I would be I'd be broadcasting that to everyone, but they're not. So I've had to do the job, or shall I say, I'm doing that job to try and broadcast this to you guys because it's really important. The global economy is changing. Many more people are joining BRICS than people expected. I said it would be a big thing, and because of course astrology allows you to look forward into the future. Now you don't need to wet the bed on this, but it's good to be prepared to know what's coming. Uranus is going to change our relationships with finance, asset classes. I was talking, actually, shout out to Terza. I was having a, you know who you are, having a chat. This person is at one of the forefronts of AI, etc., and stuff like that. And we had a big conversation about digital currencies. Soon, items will be tokenized. You'll have a tokenized car, house. You'll be able to exchange and buy a house within 5 seconds. Digital contracts. So many different things and innovations coming with AI and augmented reality and all of these different things. Now it's going to become tangible and real because things become tangible and real in Taurus. The ideas are developed in Aries, but Taurus, being an earth sign, is the first sign of manifestation, particularly things in the body, humanity, food, education, money, asset classes. Yeah, it's all starting to make sense. Uranus has just begun. He's going to go direct, and then he's going to retrograde back into Aries again, and then go direct, I think, round about in the summer of 2025. And then he's not going to retrograde out again. He's going to spend the rest of the time in Taurus. Big shifts are coming. Yeah, so I want you guys to be aware, so that you can, you can prepare and you have your contingency plans and stuff like that. Also, as well, like someone was saying in the comments, why is Greg Abbott starting a new stock exchange? Yeah, stock exchange deals with what? Money, finances. He's obviously done that recently, probably around the time when Uranus moved into sidereal Taurus. Do you see how this thing follows? Western tropical astrology is 24 degrees ahead of the true placements. So they've been saying, oh, Uranus is in Taurus for years. No, he's just moved in. They're talking about Taurus in Gemini, which is a different energy. I'm not saying it's wrong, but it's a different read. His physical body is here. Saturn is physically here in Aquarius. Technologies, government, distribution systems of all kinds, AI, that's all starting to kick off. Pluto, sidereal Capricorn, transformations in government, infrastructure, things breaking down, governments moving to the right, yeah, but also as well, people wanting transformation and change, willing to try something radical. Old things must die. Old things are, you know, freezing up and becoming dysfunctional. Just think of Mitch McConnell, yeah? Quite a few of those politicians have been, yeah? So do you see, I'm wanting to show you this wider energy, and I've been wanting to talk about it for a while, but I had to wait for the evidence to come so then you could actually just see for yourself what I'm presenting to you, that it's not just theory, it's becoming fact, yeah? Anyway, but I'm really on the pulpit today. Let me stop the share. And I'll go back. Let's see if I can squeeze in one of your another question. So let's just see here. So I hope you found that interesting, but you can understand, you can sense the urgency, can't you, in my voice, because this is a big deal, big deal. Let's see here. Someone's saying blessings, Hogarth, to everyone in the chat. Thank you, Fatima. Let's see if there's any doodahs here. What's this? They did say that we could probably need COVID vaccine boosters as the virus is mutated. All right. I'm not sure about that. But anyway, I would say take your vitamin D. That's all in fact, that's all I'm going to say. Boost the immune system. Yeah, vitamin D. Anyway, let's see here. So someone is saying here, neoliberalism is alive and well in Australia. Our Labour Party, who were traditionally for the workers, have abandoned workers in favour of the rich. The most vulnerable in society have been ignored. There you go. Yeah. A lot of these governments are fronting as being for the workers, and then when they get in, they change. This could happen with Labour in the UK. I don't trust that Starmer at all, to be honest. You know, I'm not a big fan, most people aren't, but the Tories have to go. Yeah, but he's shown himself to be a thin-skinned authoritarian. He really has. So I'm sorry to hear that for Australia, because I understand there was a lot of hope and a lot of people were hoping that, you know, they would bring, you know, better changes and all of that kind of stuff. Seems like I mean, that's just one comment in the comments, you know. Obviously I don't live in Australia, but this is what I like about these interactions here. So Val's saying, when will dark money stop being part of politics, i.e. APA, I don't know what that means, i.e. APAIC. I can't work that one out. When will it start being? When we vote differently. Yeah, we have to vote differently. We can't keep voting for these people that are keeping the same paradigm in place. This is a lot also is what Pluto in Capricorn is about. It shows what needs to die and what needs to be reborn. Global politics needs to be reborn, doesn't it? I think we can all agree on that. Yeah. So yeah, people just have to stop voting for them. Someone's saying, loving my shirt. Thank you. Thank you. That's very kind. Let's see. Oh, look. Yeah. Someone says here, look, Professorina, not to mention college debts not to mention college debts too, such a crime. I teach college and I worry about my students, and they make and will they make enough dollars to survive? Yes. You see, like, so I'm trying to just provide this context, like this lurch to the right and stuff. It's not coming out of nowhere. There is a reason why the young are voting for this. It's because they feel they have no hope. They want to, and you could see in the cards when I was reading on France, remember the Emperor, and then there was the Knight of Cups giving the message. Yeah. So it all stitches together. None of this is random. So look here. So someone else admits to saying in Australia, the youth are told to study hard, go to uni, etc. But how does one do that when there is little support from the government when you are studying and then struggle to find work? Yeah, because neoliberalism is about serving the elites. And as an idea and a concept, it has infected so much of global politics. So yeah, and what's this? Yeah, look, someone else is saying, yes, many of the kids that graduate HS and or college will stay at home with their parents because they can't afford to move out. Yeah, so imagine how frustrating that is. You're in your 30s and you still can't leave home. I mean, it's tough. Let's see here. So in the 80s, as a liberal college grad, the world was extremely bleak. 16% interest rates to buy a house, threats of nuclear war, job crisis. I could go on. We fight for what is right. Don't give up. Yes, indeed. But also as well, you're absolutely right. Interest rates were a lot higher, but the amount that people paid for their homes was significantly less. So like, for example, in the 80s, because some people will say that, well, the interest rates were 16%, but 16% on £40,000, if your house was 40,000, yeah, which I mean, and that's the middle of the range. Some people's houses were 30,000. So if you're paying between 30,000, 50,000, yeah, okay, 16%, it sounds like a lot, and I'm not poo-pooing it. They did have to work hard. Think of the average house price now. The average house price in my area now, where I live, is £1.1 million. Imagine now interest rates have gone up. So a lot of people's mortgages have doubled. So with Liz Turd, yeah, who basically messed up everyone's mortgages in the UK, no one's got any bloody money. So imagine paying 16% on a 1 point whatever million mortgage. That's an extreme example, but that is the average house price. I mean, I live in a small little flat. This is the average house price now for like a 3-bedroom house in this area of town. This is replicated all up and down the UK and of course in America. No one wants to move because the interest rates have gone up. And you guys have long fixed term mortgages. So why would anyone move if you're paying your mortgage at 3.5% and the rate is now 7? No one's going to pay double on that. Do you see? So it has this knock-on effect, and then everyone rents out their place, and the students, they can't afford to move out and move up. That's causing frustration, and they're looking for ways to get themselves out of that. And of course, this is when the far right comes in with their message. Yeah. Anyway, so let's see here. Let's see here. So people here, why? Is this why Trump wants to be president again? Well, he doesn't want to be president. He wants to stay out of jail. Yeah. He wants to stay out of jail. But if he does get back in, think of what he's going to do. He's already said what he's going to do. And someone's saying here, Karen is saying, BRICS is very important. Pay attention. So many things at play. Thanks, Ogaf. Yes, thank you. No, it really is. There's a lot going on. And let's see here. So Ben Jacksel is saying, oh, there's a nice picture of Rihanna there. Currently, strength depends on an economic and political stability. All the BRICS members buy US dollars as a reserve currency for their countries. Yes, but not anymore. That's the point. That's the point. I'm giving you the hot off the press. Saudi has decided that they've not renewed the contract from 80 years ago. So that means they're not going to be trading in oil in the petrodollar anymore. That's big news. That should be all over the news. What the BRICS is doing, they're trying to get people to trade in their own currencies, not the petrodollar. That's why I'm flagging this up. Yeah. So thank you for your questions. And it's not what you said here. Yes, you are right. But this is becoming less and less true with time, but only recently, which is why I'm talking now, because of course Uranus has just gone into sidereal Taurus, so now this is all relevant. Yeah, you see, it makes sense. I had to do it with the timing because I spoke about this before and it just seemed too nebulous. Now I've shown you articles, evidence, proof, yeah, of these things that I'm talking about. So that's where it's all going. Look, here we are. Last one here. Interesting development. Israel asked to join BRICS last year and was turned down. I wonder if this is why Netanyahu is so vexed. Could well be. Not everyone is necessarily being accepted. Argentina was supposed to be part of it. They decided to pull out. But as you saw there, what is it? How many 50 plus countries want to join? This is going to be a massive alliance, folks. And what they're doing is they're going to back their currency with gold and with oil. So they're reconnecting currency with tangible assets. This will not be a fiat currency, which is what we've been used to since America moved off the gold standard. So anyway, I'm banging on now. Let me just see here. Let's just see here. What's this? Agreement. Other people talking to it. Just stick with it. All right. Okay. So someone, no, this is good. This is good. I don't mind a bit of pushback. So CC Ryder says, Hogarth, stick with credible media or fiscal policy like Reuters. You are citing a small company in Texas with 10 employees. What's your guru? Yeah, that may be the case. But remember what I said. I don't know what their affiliations are. The point is, this is happening. There are articles in Reuters about this. And what you got to understand as well is, we've become too much in the habit of like, well, if it's on CNN, then it's real. If it's on MSNBC, then it's real. I've substantiated what I'm saying, not only with the articles, but with also the astrology. I read thousands of charts. I know how this stuff goes. It is the way the world is going. That's why I was able to help my client today. She's got Uranus in the first house. She's part of the new evolution. This stuff is not mainstream yet because the mainstream is obsessed with Duck Larange. That's all they want to talk about. But there's very important stuff going on. Also as well, it wasn't just that little thing. You saw as well, I did an article from Politico. Again, I don't know their affiliation, but they're certainly established, aren't they? Reading on Macron. So it's not always about, oh, let me go and find BBC, let me go find CNN, blah, 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 because they're not going to be talking about this stuff because they've got their paradigm that they're trying to share. So try and be open-minded as well, just because it may not be from the sources that one is necessarily used to, doesn't mean it's not true. I've been watching this BRICS stuff now for a while. As you saw in the clip, I've been talking about this from years ago. So, you know, this was before all these different articles and stuff came out. Those were just some of the recent flurry. It's easy to find more. But what I'm saying is it substantiates the overall trend that I'm identifying, and I'm flagging this up for you guys so that you've got a heads up so you can be prepared and use these energies, use these Plutonian energies to do alchemy, magic, transformation. It's not all bad. But we have to consciously use that energy to transform and create the societies that we want to see. Look, I will leave it there. Otherwise, I'm going to be banging on the pulpit for ages. And then, oh, here we are. So this is a counter argument. You see, I put the counter arguments as well. So Cyril is saying, it's not a big deal, sorry, because US is a net exporter of energy fuels and became a net exporter of oil, while the Middle East is very volatile. More and more buyers are turning to the US for oil. Yeah, there's some truth in that, but the whole Middle Eastern oil thing is massive. And if you think that you know, the UAE not signing again, not renewing their contract with the petrodollar is not a big deal. I would suggest, with respect, reevaluate that, because that is not what that's not what the astrology is saying, and that has been one of the major sources of power as well for the USA. Yes, it can produce oil, but it will also be competing with these countries. The UAE, OPEC, and all of that stuff. They own the majority of the US of the global oil production anyway. So, you know, it's different. If all that money it was all being done in petrodollars before, that's why it's called the petrodollar. If that's not being done that anymore, it's going to be in different currencies, and that will have a knock-on effect. Anyway, I will leave it there. Otherwise, this could just bang on. I could bang on for too late. I'll finish on this one here. Sammy's saying correct. Take vitamin D, C, and zinc daily. There you are. Yes, that will boost your immune system, help you. Thank you so much for watching, guys. This one from, you know, the pulpit. Next week I'll probably be back to normal, but I just had to share this stuff so you guys can see from the Vedic astrology perspective how the energies are developing, so you've got a heads up. Anyway, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and of course, if you want to know more about this, it is in the book. It's also paperback as well. It doesn't have to be hardback, and Kindle. What I would say, if you're really interested in illustrations, the Kindle, you can zoom into the pictures, of course. They're nice and big. In the paperback, I'd say they look great there as well. In the hardback, you can still see them, but I don't think it came out as perfect as the other ones. But anyway, whichever you prefer is still all good anyway. I will leave it there. I hope you found that interesting, but I felt I had to make those points today. Next week, probably back to normal. Mwah! Bye-bye for now. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you found that interesting. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye-bye.